Hello, guys, and welcome back to another narrated chapter. I'm picking up with narration in this one because it's a little bit different than what I was doing with the props. The props videos were basically me using references loosely and inventing a lot of the stuff, or using my own 2D concepts. This is pretty much following the concept, the not the concept, but the reference image, which was what you saw at the beginning of the video. It was building a bar basically that I chose from one of the alleys from Dublin that I shot, and you can find that reference in the reference folder that you can find on my Gumroad page. So if you want to follow along, but basically it was very interesting building, which one of the windows is circular round and the other one is square, which kind of I don't know why, but it kind of worked for me for this sci-fi version of Dublin. It looked kind of odd, but in a good way. So yeah, I basically decided to pretty much model it exactly the same. I even zoomed in quite a bit, and I decided to do all the imperfections in the boards where they're like bent and twisted and broken and stuff. So that's coming up in the video. So yeah, this is, I mean, it's pretty much the same type of modeling, but in this one I'm trying closely to pay attention to to the reference and try to match it as close as possible. This is something that you're going to be doing in production more often than what I was doing in the previous chapters, which was designing my own type stuff. Usually, when you're working production, you are given a concept or at least a reference from multiple angles, if you're lucky, and you basically, your job is to kind of replicate that in 3D as close as possible. Um, so yeah, I mean, what makes this thing unique and so powerful is the imperfections in the surface that create all these wobbly bits in the board. It gives it history and a story. So like if you start even thinking about it, you can kind of even tell how these were formed, or like were they created under pressure, or because something was like removed or stuff like that. So it's really fun for me to kind of do a deep dive of how, like, psychology, like how this thing happened. It Like, I'm a big story guy, so I really like to kind of inform my audience that this is not just a building. This is a building that used to be something. So it's something that is really really good to think about when you're creating environments, that you want your audience to get a specific feel, and one way to accomplish that is to give it a backstory. Even if you don't explain the backstory to the audience in the end, just by having it in mind while you do this kind of stuff, it you know you're gonna make decisions that will be connected to the story, and therefore it's gonna serve the end result much better than if it was just a random generic building. So just keeping the tradition of copying geometry from already made up geometry and just reusing it to create something new. Because I was not sure how I'm gonna use this building. Like, I knew I'm definitely gonna have this bar somewhere, and I knew that definitely I'm gonna be rendering in 4K, which means even if it's slightly further away, you're gonna still be able to see all the details when you zoom in. I decided a lot of these buildings that I'm making to have, to go the extra mile and do them, really detailed, like do like connecting pieces and like rubber pieces that fit between two metal pieces and stuff like that. Stuff that you usually don't do for a mid ground props. But as I said, I wanted to kind of go the extra mile for this one. Especially this is because this is a tileable piece and it's gonna go into my kit bash section later, which means that I will reuse this probably in the future. So yeah, here is what I was talking about the details. So I was saying because I will be reusing this over and over again, just to kind of fill in parts. I would like to have all the stuff figured out and detail it, so even if I have a close-up, or if I decide to do a close-up render of this, it will still hold up, and it's gonna look fine. So jumping on to the circular window, I pretty much extracted the cylinder part of the wall and excuse me, and extruded it back to form the excuse me, to form the metal trim around the window. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it for for this kind of stuff. I wanted to talk about a little bit about a script that you may saw me use in one of the previous videos, which is called QuickPipe. It's basically a script. Oh, there it is. So yeah, it's basically a script that I found online that is very, very useful for this kind of stuff. And for making cables and ropes and like profiles and stuff like that. So highly recommend it. It's very cheap, very affordable. It's like maybe like $10 or something. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, I highly recommend it. I use it in this piece a lot, especially when I started creating the cables of the lamp post / traffic light. And all the other cables that kind of connect the buildings that you can see in the final scene. So yeah, feel free to check out the videos on YouTube. Yeah, I can't remember who exactly did it, so I apologize. But yeah, just type QuickPipe and you should be able to get it pretty soon. So yeah, that's about it. This video is about to end, and thank you guys for sticking around, and I hope you're enjoying these videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.